So the last one in service value systems is continual improvement. So the continual improvement model applies to and see it applies to everything. Apply to service value system in society. All the organization products, services, service components, and relationship. In other words, everything must be improved.
Did you alert them now?
Yes.
Because nobody answered.
Hello. 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 I must send message that will start by so the IT service value system, including what? The IT continual improvement model. You still remember that one? No, we have not touched this. There's what about IT continual improvement model. I say another model again.
Mm-hmm.
The process of improvement, which provide organization with a structured approach to implementing improvement. The improved activities, there's an improved activity in service value chain,
Yeah.
uh which embed continual improvement into value chain. Then the continual improvement practice, which support the organization in their day-to-day improvement efforts.
So
So what it's
this.
trying to say now, everything, both your product, your service, the activities, the everything you do, the department for dimension of service management must be improved if you want to really deliver great value. That's the end of this one. So now you can see they are going to another iteration again. When I want to look at the IT guiding principle now in full now. After this one, you are not going to say anything about IT guiding principle again. Those guiding principle we talked about before, we want to now expand it and see how we can apply it, how we can apply them. So you now come back to the IT guiding principle. Remember, there are seven IT guiding principle which are focused on value, start where you are, progress iteratively with feedback, collaborate and promote feasibility, think and work holistically, then keep it simple and practical, and optimize and automate. Now, the first one of the seven guiding principles say focus on value. So when you say you are focusing on value, what does it really mean? Say, okay. Now in this course, we say one of the guiding principles is focus on value. So how do you apply it? Focus on value. Can you focus on value the customer you don't know, or customer you have not identified, or customer you don't know what they want to use your service to do? You cannot focus on value. So that's what I'm trying to say. You say when you say you are focusing on value, so you ask yourself, who is the customer, or what did they value? Different customer value different thing. That is why sometimes you need feedback from customer every time your service. Whether the internal customer or external customer, you need feedback. So through that, you should be able to create a service that fits into their real need. So when you say you are focusing on value, what are you saying? You must ask who is the customer, what do they value? Who are the other stakeholder, what they value? Part of the question also with that, what is about the service that creates value? So if you say you are focusing on value, these things you may be answer this question. Say, why does the customer use the service? If you don't know why the customer uses your service, you may create something that is not in alignment with their needs. How do the service help them? What do the service help them to do? These are part of the thing when you say you are focusing on value. Then how do the service help them to achieve their own goal? Every customer that subscribes to your service has the reason why they subscribe. So you must know the reason so that you can now build that service to meet their need. What is the role of cost? Financial consequence. Sorry. So these are the questions you must be able to answer. The question you must ask and to provide solution. What is the role of cost? Financial consequences for the service consumer. Because you must know whether the customer is able to afford your service. Because if customer is not able to afford your service, it's part of it. What is the role of the risk for the service consumer? You must be able to factor out the risk when customer consume your service. So that one will bring out about what you call customer experience. So customer experience now is the sum of functional and emotional interaction when the service and the service provider as perceived by the service consumer. So when you are talking about customer experience, you are talking about two things now. Your service must have two elements: your product, functional and emotional interaction. Have you ever been to a supermarket before? You have the list of what you want to buy. But when you go through, you see they now sorry, they now arrange their product, even though you don't plan to buy it before. But the way they arrange it, colorful, maybe the package, everything is flashy. You go out of your way to go and buy them. So now saying that for a service organization, this is a strategy. The fact that a product can do what's supposed to do, you can still create another product whereby even the customer don't have it in mind to buy. The way your strategy is that you want to buy. That's what they call emotional buying. Have you ever buy something emotionally before? You didn't even plan for it.
Yeah.
Maybe buy. Yeah, sometimes I buy a product, maybe I look at the package. Oh, I may not need the content, but the package, I can reuse it in my house. I just buy it because of that. So it's one of the strategies that any organization uses to make sure that customer you satisfy them. Whether they want to buy the product or they don't want to buy, you just find a way for them to buy it. So when you say customer experience, what do we mean? I say is the sum of that. There are two things that involve functional or the emotional interaction with a service and the service provider perceived by the service consumer. It's consumer that perceive your value you give to them through your service. So may influence how the consumer feel about the service provider and its product is partly objective. Objective means that it's functional. That product is useful. Subjective, I see. That's the emotional aspect of it. So that's when you're talking about customer experience, these are two things will be there. So now let us apply the principle. To apply the principle now, it means that if you say you are focusing on value, you must know how this service consumer use each service. Now we have talked about this one before. You can do democratic characteristics of your customer, maybe through the age group, age bracket, income bracket, location where they stay, and many other things. So if you do that one, you know exactly, okay, these people, this customer is in this age bracket or is this salary bracket. So you now create that product based on what you can afford. Encourage a focus on value among all the staff. So that is why you are in this course now. You know importance of value to customer. So if you assign works to maybe somebody is under you, make sure that the person does the work according to. So because it's a part of the process, part of the people who contribute to organization to achieve their strategic goal. And one of the strategic goals that whatever they produce or service they render, the outcome should be that it should be able to deliver business value or customer value or stakeholder value. So you encourage this now, this action word now. Encourage a focus on value among all staff. Focus on value during the normal operational activities as well as during the improvement activities. Include focus on value in every step of the improvement initiative. That's for that. So let's go to the next one. Start where you are. What does it mean? It says often there are existing practices or capability to be leveraged. Make sure what is this one is trying to talk about. Now. There are certain things you can reuse. There are certain things you may not be able to reuse when you are creating your service or designing your service or deploying your service. So the things you can reuse, you use them. You see, you cannot reuse. But what you cannot reuse them because they cannot serve your purpose in your service. But if you look at it internally in your organization, there are certain things you don't need to go and get somebody outside or buy a new machine or any technology. Look at what is already in existence and reuse and leverage that. So that's why I say look at apply the principle. Say look at what exists as objectively as possible, using a customer or a desired outcome as a starting point. When example, a successful practice or service are found in the current state. It determines if how this can be replicated or expanded upon to achieve the desired state. So when you are doing that, because we have two states when it comes to service management or improvement in organization. We have current states and future state. Current state is the state whereby you envisaging and improving your the activities in organization. Future state is the state of improvement. So for you to migrate from the present state to the future state, you need to consider the carry out what they call risk assessment. That was apply your risk assessment because current state is clear to you. Future state is unknown. Along the way, when you want to migrate from the current to spiritual state, that you want to improve a lot of things within the way. So you carry out what they call gap analysis and see what can be an issue that will not allow me to be able to achieve my future state. The future state is always referred to as the state of improvement. I also recognize that sometimes nothing from the current state can be reused. When I say reuse in this case, that there are certain things that you cannot reuse that cannot support your service. If you use them, it will not help to deliver any value. Why are you wasting time of them? You take them off. There are certain things you can see you use in your system, organizational system, that can help you to achieve your goal, your organizational goal. Your goal might can be what? I want to satisfy my customer. I want to deliver a better product. I want to give a quality service. So that's your goal. Then progress iteratively in feedback. And you say, resist the temptation to do everything at once. In fact, when you see this kind, when you say progress iteratively with feedback, what should come to your mind is that agile or scrum, or you want to hear XP programming. That when I'm designing my service, I'm planning my service. I'm not supposed to plan everything at once because things will keep on changing. For example, we said yesterday, organizational policy can change, customer taste can change. If you gather requirement for a customer, before you know, they say, okay, we are changing requirement. And if you have used that requirement to design, they will tell you, no, it's not, and you have to adapt. So that means that you have to adapt to changing things, changing variable within your organization. Customer taste can change, government policy can change, technology can change, even your stakeholder strategy can change. Even environment you do your business can change. So you should be able to adapt. So that's why we normally use Agile or Scrum when we are planning our service to make sure that we plan the portion that is more relevant to the stakeholder now. So we gather information from them. So if the stakeholder now change their mind, you can easily adapt to them. Now what you normally do is that the development team will come together and plan what they want to do. They plan that only that portion. So while they are now doing the development, doing the development side, they call it a sprint. So they focus on that one. Then they will now engage the customer who will now consume that service or who will consume that product. So to get a feedback from them, that feedback is a form of improvement. So we call it iterative or incremental way of designing a product or software, so that if customer changes their mind, you can easily adapt. So that's what it is. So you resist the temptation of to do everything at once. So what do you do? For example, I give you an example yesterday that if an account department of an organization, they have been using the account, they have been using a what they call manual method in carrying out their accounting activity, and they discover that this thing is affecting them. And they say, okay, let us automate our accounting process. And that means that they want you to create a software for them to be able to do that. And then I see that software we have about 10 modules. They now give you information that out of those 10 modules, what's more important to us now is what? The account receivable module. That means that's what you are going to focus on. So it's needless for you to plan everything. Plan that only that portion. So when you plan it now, you now use your development team who will now develop that. Do you understand me? Then while you are doing that, you engage the stakeholder. Stakeholder, that's the people in the account department now. As you are designing it, you engage them. That engagement means what? You are getting feedback for them. So if you make mistake, they say make mistake fast, fail fast. When you fail fast, you see a lot of inconvenience in that, like cost, like wasting energy, wasting time. So when you face, they will give you idea that okay, you can do it like this one. Then that what they call iterative and incremental. So you are not doing it way to our taste or what you are designing is not in alignment with the requirement you gather from there. So you go back and redo it until you do it right. So therefore, you need to break work into small, manageable chunks. So what's the more important here is that It will help you when you are designing and you allow the customer to be the part of the process. So they will not give you a feedback. You can further what? Drive further improvement. And assess to maintain the focus on value. Can you say major initiative can be decomposed into smaller initiative. That means that software now you divide it into smaller um, modules. Then you concentrate on a single module and you work with the stakeholder while you are creating it. And as you are creating it, you will know whether you are meeting their needs or not. That's what it's talking about. Progressive iterative feedback. So you understand this thing better if you are part of the people who design your service. So that's for this. Then, because they mentioned feedback, what is the purpose of feedback? What is the purpose of feedback? If you get the feedback from a customer,
For improvement.
so guys, they are not supposed to tell us this again, but because it's a professional body, say, what's a feedback loop? So that means you may expect this one is, and ask you, what's the purpose of feedback loop? A technique whereby the output of one part of the system are used as an input to the same part of the system. So let's look at the business context of when you are using that terminology. It's a business context, changes in real time emphasize the necessity for useful feedback. That's exactly what we are doing in Agile or Scrum. So when customers change their the requirements, you can quickly adapt. But when you are using waterfall methodology, you are planning everything from the beginning to the end. So it is the end that when you are now the output or the outcome, they now begin to validate them. The customer need to check and validate. You discover that from module 2, there's an error. That means from module 2 to module 10, it's a waste. That's why waterfall methodology is not the best, especially when a project or a system or I mean solution is not well defined. When you want what you want to create is not well defined. So if it's not well defined, you must find a methodology that can help you to adapt. So that's what the business context changes in the real time emphasize the necessity for useful feedback. So feedback, what does it do? Enables us to assess the value of an iteration. Because in agile, you do different iteration. You can say iteration one, iteration two, or you call it sprint. So in each of the sprints, if there's an error, you can quickly assess through the feedback you get from the customer and whether to continue or change direction. If you do it very well, you continue, it will pass as a product or a module that meets with definition of done, DOD. That's what I mean. The hand. So that's what I've done. So if it ever to assess the value of the iteration and whether to continue or to change direction. So change direction means that if you didn't do it very well, go back again and replan and redo it. So it saves you time, it saves energy. You fail fast. It's better to fail fast and to fail last, whereby you have spent a lot of money, energy, and time. And discover that you need to go back and redo everything. It's not cost effective. So, what does a feedback loop facilitate? An understanding of the end user, and that's exactly what Agile is talking about. Because if you are part of the process, as I'm building that solution, you are there. I demonstrate it to you. They call it demo. You demonstrate the product to them. And when you demonstrate, they say, it's okay, okay, it passed quality control process, it passed. It doesn't pass, so an understanding of an end user and customer perception of the value created, an improvement in efficiency and effectiveness of value chain activity. It increased the effectiveness of service governance as well as the management control, then ensure that the interface between the organization and its partner or the stakeholder or customer and the supplier network and encourage demand for products. Because if the customer are the part of your process, while you are building your solution or you are building your service, they contributed to it. Can you see? So that they are sure that you are going to produce something that will meet their needs. So that can you see encouraging demand for product and service. So they are part of the project. One of the terminology we use also in Agile is time boxing. Every sprint is time box. For a sprint, a normal sprint is supposed to take about a month. Time boxes. So what does the time boxing help us to achieve? And greater flexibility, faster responses to customer and business needs. Because with time boxing, I'm going to use 10 minutes to do this thing and I focus on it. So can I say flexibility, faster response to customers and business needs. In business world, is the person that first reach the market that matter. I say, so other people will just come. So capture the market before other people come. The ability to discover and respond to failure earlier. Can you see? That is what Ajay is talking about. Instead of you to make a long failure mode one, failure mode two, failure mode three, it will be very difficult for you to correct them sometimes. Then overall improvement in quality. All these things are just telling us that this principle help us to look at what we are doing in our service to make sure we are doing them well, and we're also engaging the end user. You have to build that solution to their taste, to their specification. That's what we call requirement. So if you don't build to their specification, there's no need for you to continue. So customer looking for quality service, quality product. So we also talk about one of the things where you can apply the principle. You talk about something we call it minimum viable product. Have you heard about minimum viable product before? Yeah. You say a product. You heard of it, you know. Maybe they did call this name. Do you know that Microsoft, they have different brain version of their product? They push it to the market. They just put some feature and function that can be useful to for the people who are going to use it. So they want it to reach the market on time. The same thing happen in a service. Maybe your organization, you are producing a service. So you push the product into the market, but that product has some feature and function that can be still be useful to the people who are going to use it. So when you push it to the market now, they will not tell us, okay, this product is okay, but can you help us to adjust it and add other feature and function? That's why you see Microsoft will tell you this is version one, version two. They keep on improving on it, but they get a response from you. So MVP means a product with just enough feature to satisfy early customer and to provide feedback for further product development. I see. That one MVP. Thank you. That's what MVP is talking about. MVP. So it's very important for any organization that's into service because customers are waiting for you. If you are going to do a long, I want to add this feature, and a lot of time, if you even some phone, some product, you put some feature there that even 10 years time, people will not use that feature and function. But you push it to the market, the customer will tell you that we need this feature and function. That's what they are trying to say here. Because in a business world, the person that reaches the market on time, you quickly capture the market. But you are still waiting. I want to put this feature and division. No, no, no. That's why I say you comprehend the whole. You know what you are going to do, but do something. Do something that is relevant to the customer, useful to the customer. That's why some organization conduct survey. Conduct a survey to make sure they get it right from the point of view of the customer. Say comprehend the whole and do something. In our ecosystem, when you say ecosystem, our business ecosystem, the business ecosystem is constantly changing. So feedback is essential. That's what I mean. And that is this MVP is just like a feedback. Feedback. Sometimes, what they call the name of that company, if they want to launch their product, they want to launch a product, they will involve many people. They will put in their site. They want to launch maybe one particular phone. See people come there and look at it like that. So they are getting a feedback from them. They want to launch, they want to get a feedback from, okay, this phone, what are the feature and function you see in this phone? Or what are the other things you want us to put in the next one? So it's saying that the ecosystem is constantly changing. Customer tastes are changing very fast. So if you say you are seeing the production, you are still doing and adding, you miss the market because the people are fast who can make decision on time. They reach the market, they'll capture the market from you. So that was say they are leaders. Reach the market fast. So fast does not mean incomplete. So the IT is telling you that strive for an MVP. The organization should try to be what? MVP organization. That's minimum viable product. Push it to the market on time. Capture the market. Is the market will dictate whether you need to put other feature and function. MVP. So if you're asking an example, minimum viable product is related to this progress activity with feedback. Yes. Yes. You know, in business world, there's competition. Whether I don't know or don't know it, companies are competing with one another. They are studying your strategy. They are studying your move. They are looking at your product. Sometimes some organization will take your product, if it's a physical product, they go and dissect it and they look at why are the customer running after this product. So they go to the laboratory and see what is there. They now, when they discover that one, they will now add that feature to their own. They will now relaunch back to the market. So those are the things that you need to know when it comes to service management. Improvement. Customer is looking for something that can satisfy their needs. And your competitor is giving them what they need. and they are not after your own. Ask yourself, do research, do market survey, do a kind of product segmentation, or something like that, to make sure that you capture the essence from the customer. So the next principle is saying, well, collaborate and promote visibility. There are two key things you need to understand here. He said, when you gather the right people, as your team member now, who are part of the service design, or and the right role, you give them the right role, abi, and the right information. There are three things that will make you to be able to, can you see, bring the right people in your team, give them the right role, give them the right information to work. What's the outcome? Get the outcome. So now saying that when teams are working to help the organization to achieve their strategic goal, the team must move out of their own character, what they call silos behavior. Silos behavior can happen for many reasons, whereby teams are not collaborating, they are not collaborating, they are not integrating, they are not on the same page. So if the team are the part of the service delivery or service design, silos behavior can should be discouraged. But silos behavior can happen for many reasons, but impedes, can you see, collaboration and communication. Anytime you see collaboration, there must be communication. What is communication? Visibility is communication, making things open. So working together require information, can you see, understandings and trust. What does it ensure? Make work feasible. It's clear to everybody. What we are doing is clear. Where we are going is clear. The direction at which we are going is not to everybody. Avoid hidden agendas and help us to share information. This thing has happened to me. You can apply it in many ways. So let me give you an example of this one so that I can understand better. In this our organization, for you to teach any course, you should start for the exam, certification. But something normally happen. If you and I now we are assigned to teach the course, so I say two of you go and do the exam. You know somebody can can add information for you so that you make sure you fail the exam, or so that the other person will pass the exam. So it has happened to me before. Somebody is a colleague, so he hide information from me. If I pass the exam, it's not necessarily for my glory. I pass the exam so that I can be able to use it for the organization to achieve our goal. Now, somebody now, because he thought that if he pass, I fail, they can promote him over me. That's a silence behavior. It will not help the organization to move forward, whether I like it or not. And eventually, I failed the exam. How do I know that he did this for me? That I just came and say, "Do you pass?" I said, "I don't pass." He said, "No, no, you pass." I said, "I failed it." Oh, he said, he didn't use it because there are two resources I'm supposed to use. I got one, that's the partial information. The other one, he had it for me. He said he has it. I say he forgot to tell me to give me. I said, what? Already things are somebody has died now. You are talking about. So I'm just giving you an example of what it means that if a team are working, information is open to help you to accomplish your objectives. You are not helping for yourself, you are helping for the organization. That's it. Bring the right people together, give them the right role, give them the right information. What is a better outcome? That better outcome is what in IT? How do you describe that better outcome? What's one single word you use for it? Value. That's what we mean. So the organization can be able to deliver value. So when improvement lack communication, openness, visibility, you keep on guessing. I guess that exam, although the exam is at the same IT, that is the other level. And you are supposed to because the other level is not 20, it's not 24, it's 20, 28. You have to pass 20 out of 40. I scored 26. They will not tell you whether it means 2 marks that they will pardon you know. You just feel like that. So I didn't get enough information, enough point to read. So that gap now, that two remaining something is in other. So I was guessing now because I don't have you. So when improvement lack communication, people make poor guesses. And guess it's not the best way to do things. You have to be very sure. The same thing you bring it back to your team's setting when people are working together. Make sure that you bring the right people together, you give them the right role. They also give them information to work. Information is critical. So it give them better outcomes. Now, now we are talking about collaborate. Who are the people who collaborate? Most of the time, who collaborate?
Most of them
Who
collaborate.
collaborate? Your team member, people collaborate. It also involve you also need to collaborate with stakeholder, I mean the end user. If you want to serve them better. So that's why we talk about stakeholder identification. So in your service, you should be able to identify who are your stakeholders. If you are trying to bring solution to meet the stakeholder, you must know who are the stakeholder. Otherwise, you'll be working off track. You'll be creating something that's not useful to them. You'll be creating solution that will not fit into their need. So therefore, when you are talking about collaboration, when you refer to stakeholder, you must be able to identify who are the stakeholder, who are the key stakeholder, who are the people who will use this product or service. That's what I mean. So identifying your stakeholder is, you know what this I mean? Identifying your stakeholder is fundamental to the collaborate and promote visibility principle. Very important. Customer collaboration lead to what? Better outcomes. Very important. Hold. Yes. Hello. Are you getting us? Hello. Okay, good. Yeah. Customer collaboration leads to better outcome. Also, now I'm not to bring to your level now. Maybe you are a developer, you are the technical team, you are developing solution with software for your team. So developer work with app operation. Abi. The operations are the people who are going to use that software you are using. So developer working with the operation to what to ensure delivery efficiency and effectiveness. They help you to they help you to investigate defect, and that is what we did in Agile. As you are doing, you they collaborate with them, you share idea with them, they see what you are doing, you demonstrate to them. They'll tell you, okay, this area is not okay. So that I need to go to another iteration and do it. So it's able to investigate defects, identify workarounds and permanent fix. What is workaround? No, workaround. It identify workarounds and permanent fix. What is workaround?
A solution that is not defined.
And so
Just
that's a workaround. I use temporary solution.
temporary
And
solution.
so I also will fix. So supplier now, we now bring it to supplier because supplier are part of your stakeholder too. Supplier collaborates to find innovative solution to problem. You are the one who supply me this the service item. So if I have problem with it, they will help me. So relationship manager work to understand the service consumer needs. That's why we're talking about relationship management. Some organizations have a relationship department whereby anything has to do with customer, they make sure that they relate well with customers so that they it will help them in their project. So customer collaborate to better understand business issue. So supplier collaborates on shared process and automation opportunities. So if there's a new technology in town and then your supplier understand that if you can use this technology, it makes your process to be more efficient and effective. So they collaborate with you, they give you information about okay, you have been using this kind of machine and it has been slowing down your process. There's a new automation opportunity in the time they can suggest it to you. You can see it. So if you don't identify your stakeholder, you have to you cannot collaborate. You cannot collaborate with somebody you don't know. So I say stakeholder identification. Then communication, what does it mean? In these two words now, what does communication mean here?
That's visibility.
Visibility. So you see, they are just trying to break it down for us to understand. So communication. You say good communication provide clarity. Even in the team setting, if you give us work to do, you give us information, you communicate effectively. You understand me? So that I can understand. So I take the right step. I don't guess. So communication provide clarity, directions, and motivation around and all service management. So improvement come from feedback from different perspectives. Now we are talking about everything we are talking about in this guiding principle is about improvement. Everything you need to do to improve your service, to improve your product. So each of the point is about improvement. So improvement come from the feedback from different perspectives, from the external customer, from internal customer, and other stakeholder you can identify. So there are different level of engagement which are appropriate when it comes to service management. Look at the different level of engagement now. Engagement is collaboration, another name for collaboration. They are just using different way to explain to us. Say different level of engagement are appropriate when it comes to service management. So these are the different level of engagement. You should understand this one for the sake of the exam. Operational, everybody know about operation. We know about tactical, the middle level management, maybe top level, middle level management, and front level, then the strategic, go at the top level. So when it comes to different level of engagement in your service management, you need to pay attention to this and say, operational, that means daily communication with user about operational needs and issue. This is the operational answer engagement. When it comes to tactical, your regular communication with the customer about the service, how the service is performing, and the potential service improvement is done at the tactical. Then strategic communication that assess the strategic need of the entire enterprise. This is where it is done. And see, so we have operational, tactical, and strategy. So when you say make work feasible, what does it mean? Say make work feasible, what does it mean here?
Mm.
Make work feasible.
Maybe what we say.
The same thing, visibility.
Yes.
Communication, visibility, that's what I'm saying now. So that's why the point is clear, but they still want us to. So make work feasible. Important to prioritize improvement to demonstrate commitment. So easier to do this when value and work is more visible. So you must understand the flow of work in progress, identify the bottleneck. They are talking about Kanban board now. Have you heard about Kanban before?
Just
The purpose of Kanban is to do what? To make the work feasible. So that when you are pulling work to do, your team member pulling work, you know what you are pulling, you know where we are, what do we plan to do, what's the work in progress, is the one that we have already accomplished. So that's what I'm trying to say here. You're able to understand how flow of work progress on identify bottleneck when you are pulling the work for you to do. This thing is just about service design anyway, as well as the excess capacity and uncover waste. So address the need to provide the right information to all stakeholders. So look at this Kanban board now. They call it information radiator. It's using by team who are working together, who are collaborating to make information open to everybody. Nice. This is an example of Kanban board. We call it information radiator. If you have a team who are working to design your service, so in designing it, maybe like you you can divide it. You can use a whiteboard. You can use anyone Kanban board. So what are you doing here now is that okay, when we are planning our service, we are designing our service. Everybody should know what we are doing. So you divide into three like you say to do. These are the things we plan to do. Item A, we have estimated it. The one we are doing now, the work in progress, is another column. What you have accomplished, everybody know what you accomplished. So that nobody can say, nobody will now because he's trying to guess what you have accomplished, start doing it. You understand me? So it's used by agile team or scrum team to make work feasible, to know what you plan to do, what you are now doing now, and what you already done. So information is open to everybody. Cannot make mistake. You know where we are. Everybody be on the same page. So that's a Kanban board. So it has to do with it still has to do with this topic. They are using different way to explain to us that the need for a team who are designing your service or creating your service or planning your service or who are collecting a requirement from stakeholder or deploying your service or managing your service, that you need to collaborate and make information available for them to be able to do the work. So that I can say that the right people giving them the right role with the right information will give you a better outcome. That's what I'm trying to say here. So that's it. How do you apply the principle? Collaboration does not mean consensus. What does it mean? Let's contribute now. Once we are collaborating, we just agreed to whether is it true? Because we are supposed to agree.
But this means collaboration does not mean consent. So does not mean that they all, even though they are working together and collaborating, it does not mean that they all agree.
Okay, yes, now
Yes.
there are some stupid contribution
Yes.
because we collaborate like that, you don't accept like that. No, no. So although I will allow you to contribute, but I must know how to remove that thing that will not allow us to move forward. So, but you need to engage the stakeholder but act. So when it comes to team setting, where people are working together to achieve a common goal for the organization, that be say so communicate in a way the audience can hear. Also, the same thing also refer to your customer. You need to communicate in the way your service, your customer is your audience, service subscriber is your audience. Consumer is your they are your audience. Mhm. So right stakeholder, right message, right medium. They are just emphasizing the same thing. So decision can only be made on visible data. You know, when you are designing your service, you need data. What's another name you can call data? When you are designing your service, when you are planning your service, what's the another name you can call data?
You don't need to detect information.
Information. What other you can call that information from customer? Requirements. You're
No,
not
he
talking
said
about
decision.
requirements. That's it. You collect requirement from the stakeholder who are going to fancy you are building solution for anything you are building for or creating a product for. So you make sure that that information is from the right source, is complete, and is devoid of error. So it's just about how do you improve your service. So decision can only be made on visible data. Decision driven by quality, can you see? The data requirement must be a quality type. We have different kind of requirement. We have the business requirement. We have the stakeholder requirement. We have other type of requirement. So that you gather the right requirements because that requirement will be whatever you are going to create, whether product or service, should be based on that requirement. If the requirement is not properly gathered, it's going to affect your product. You are creating something that may not be useful to the customer. So decision is driven by quality and availability of data. What data is needed? How much does it cost to get that data? Balance cost of data against potential cost of not having it. That's the principle. That's just want to know that. Now the next one is called think and work holistically. That's another uh, principle. There's a, what they call system thinking. There's a course they call system thinking. You want to bring about maybe improvement to the whole enterprise. So you must understand how the enterprise at the architectural level is behaving, the way they work, about system thinking. So now bringing it to IT now. Your organization is like a system and it's thinking. Everything in your organization is thinking. Account department is thinking. The technical department is thinking. Strategy department is thinking. They are all thinking to achieve common goal, but they have the different area they are thinking. So their thinking must come together to achieve purpose. See, a system thinking is what? A holistic approach to analysis that focuses on what? The way that a system, that system there is an organization, your enterprise. So a holistic approach to analysis that focuses on the what? The way a system constituent part. When I say constituent part, it means that account department is a constituent part of the whole architectural organization, the technical, the strategic department. Mhm. The way is a holistic approach to an analysis that focuses on what? The way a system constituent part work. How do they interrelate? How does account department interrelate with the, the department? How does the account department relate to the maybe subsidiary organization and interact over time and within the context of the other system within your organization? Therefore, we say everything in IT service management is interrelated and interdependent. You remove the technical guys, technical department from your system. How does it look like? How they communicate? You know, they are very, very, very important when it comes to your service management. Okay, you remove the technical department from your organization. How does it feel like? What can they achieve? I'm trying to, you're not getting me. I
Me?
said, yes, remove technical department from your technical guys who are in charge of your.
Nothing will work now
Nothing
because
will work.
network will be down, nobody can
Uh,
communicate, everything, laptop. So,
so
It's not the
that
same way
is
that
it
remove
says
technical IT people from there. We won't be
uh,
able to do it.
that is it. Now. That is a constituent part.
sure.
So there are many constituent parts that must work together. I would say holistic, whole. So everything in IT service management is interrelated and interdependent. So have you considered how everything work together to accomplish this objective? So that's why you need to also to look at the four dimensional service management. The people and the organization, technology and information, that one you also need to work together too when it comes to service management. So you use system thinking to consider the whole, not just the subset part. Consider all the four dimensions and improve the whole at once. That will improve every year. Thank you. So it's about this course is about improvement, improving your service, improving the people, improving the technology, improving your partners, your supplier, your process, your workflow must be improved. If you don't improve them, you can never see maybe value. So consider how value is created from demand. Talking about that diagram, value is created from demand. Demand is demand and opportunity. Demand for the product and opportunity for improvement. So to do that one, you are going to ask the question, say, who are the organization and people? These are the people you must improve. The activities, what they do, the structure, the policies, the people at the strategic level. So who are the supplier and partners? They all must be improved. Then what are the processes and value streams, and what are the information and technology? So when you are looking at it from the angle of the four dimension of service management, so it must be improved. System thinking, all of them must work together. How do you apply the principle? You say you must recognize the complexity of the system. The organization is very complex. It's a system. Then for it to work together, collaboration is a key. So look for pattern in the needs of and the interaction between these system elements or the departments. The automation. Sometimes when a organization is so complex, they have many departments, many subsidiary, many branches, many other things. Sometimes what can make them to work together is automation. Automation can facilitate working holistically. That's for that. Second to the last one is called keep it simple and practical. Keep it simple and practical. If you simplify your process, your process will work well. If you make it complex, it's going to have a reverberating effects in the whole system. So when I say keep it simple and practical, what does it mean? You say you have to assess practice for value. Sometimes some organization, if you look at their process, your workflow, there's a duplication of activities. Since they're supposed to use about 10 steps to do, sorry, 3 steps to do, they use 10 steps. So that's why they are not simplifying their process. I give an example of a bank. When they first introduced the ATM machine, they did not simplify it for the user. After some time, they now thought of it that we have many tribes in Nigeria, and some of these people they cannot even speak beyond their more than their language. They now introduce other language again. They make that machine easy for them, the people to use. So always use the minimum number of steps needed to accomplish an objective. He said, if a process, including your organizational process, the service you offer, the action you take when you want to create your service, the metrics you use to measure whether the service is okay or not okay, provide no value or produces no useful outcome, what do? You eliminate it. That's what this one is talking about. Anything that is not useful in your organization, any non-value added activities you are doing in your office, you are doing in your work, you are doing to produce your service, say they are non-value added activities, they are waste and they are too costly. What do? Eliminate them. That's what it stands is keep it simple and practical. If you don't do them, you'll not be able to see improvement. That was it. If you ignore, the result might be overly complex work method. So you have to design rules to handle exception. So in order for you to understand this one, they say when something is not simple or is too complex, it will bring what they call conflict. That's what you're saying. If you build a machine for me, I don't even know where the button is. In fact, if you look some of this bank, you want to go and use their ATM machine. Sometimes when you are there, you don't even know what to press. Sometimes when I go to some ATM machine on that bank, I don't know what to press here. The way they create this thing, better I remove my card before it capture my card. So conflict. How do you apply this principle? You say you must ensure value. That simplicity in your process, your workflow, activity you do in your office will help you. Can you see? Simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. Do fewer things, but do them better. Instead of you take about 10 steps to do certain thing, look at it. Other 7 steps, they are not useful, they are waste. Cut them off. So, because if you don't cut them off, it can cause delay, and customer don't want delay. If your process is full of delay in loopholes, that can cause delay. Customer reach the market, they find that they cannot see your products, and they do it over time. They will go away from you, and same thing that happen online when you want to buy something online. If your website is doing like that, people don't waste time on go to another place. So respect the time of the people involved. Easy to understand. When you build your system, your solution, it's not too complex. People will adopt it. That is it. Simplicity now is the best route for to achieving a quick wins. So a quick wins here is value. So when you simplify your process, you simplify your product, you simplify your system, you see, people will want to engage with you. So we are going to test ourselves now. Maybe after this one, let's see whether we capture anything at all. I think the last one is this one: optimize and automate. Optimize and automate. Improve before you can deploy technology. If you don't improve your process, if you don't improve your activities in your organization, if your process is full of loopholes and error, are you now thinking that okay, maybe technology will help us to do that? No, technology will only reveal more of that error. It will expose it more. So they are now the guiding principle is saying that automation is okay by itself. It's going to help you to do your work in the most efficient and effective manner. But if you fail to improve your process and you want to deploy technology, it will reveal more. It's like a saying garbage in, garbage out. So what does it do? Maximize the value of technical and human resources. With automation, technology takes on the frequent and repetitive tasks. That's the advantage of that describing automation for us. There are certain things that human being will doing over and over, you get tired. In fact, when I switch your edge, you cannot concentrate again. Everything will lead to error, error, error. But when you automate it, so it will be, especially repetitive tasks, is done by automation. So human resources are now liberated for higher value work. Therefore, systems should be optimized before what they are automated. That's their point here. Improve your system, improve your workflow, improve your activity organization. Then when you now deploy technology with it, it will move on fast. So when you are doing this, they are talking about automation now. You consider the financial limitation. Not every organization have the capabilities on automating their process because of the automation. Then compliance requirement. Sometimes some of the technology we want to deploy is under regulation, especially bank. You are going to use any software in the bank now because you are gathering the what do you call it, the resources for your customer and put it at your own cover. So the central bank or whoever is in charge will tell you that make sure that the technology you deploy for your banking activities, make sure that it's not full of error, whereby the hacker can come there and take the common weight of their customer. So time constraints and resource availability, these are the things that you consider when you're talking about automation. So we're getting ready we are going to test ourselves to see whether, yes, no, we are going to do it together. Just to give you an example how you are going to. Now, we've talked about automation and what? And optimizations and automation. Improve your process first before you can deploy technology to it. Otherwise, the technology will need to reveal your error, error, error. So now I ask, okay, what are the steps you can take to optimize anything you are doing? You can use this thing for your own personal, call it optimization simply mean improvement. So they are now giving us the optimization steps. I've seen one question like that and I say, what's the second step what's the second step of an optimization? In this place now, what's the second step of the optimization? Current state. So let's start from the first. If you want to optimize, you want to improve anything in your organization, even in personal improvement, or maybe business improvement, or service improvement, or product improvement, you see, these are these optimization steps you are taking. The first one say optimization vision. Sir, if you want to improve anything in your organization, let's start with your department. Your department. Well, How will I ask that question? You are optimization visionary. You want to improve something. Where the original source of that instruction on how to do that improvement, where does it come from?
First of all, it was originated from your idea. The idea is from what you are seeing. You have to see where what you want to optimize to, what you want to achieve at the end of the day.
Good.
Before you be able to push. So
Okay.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
I agree with you. You want to improve anything in your organization. Where does it start from?
It starts from the
A top level management, that's the vision, where the vision is crafted. So that's why you must understand this. As you are here now, you cannot do any improvement organization. The source of the improvement original is start from the top. So this management vision.
governance.
That's why you create, yes, you create and agree upon all overall vision and align with objectives of the organization. If you are carrying out any changes or improvement organization, if it's not linked to the top, they are your own because they are the one who set the direction in which you are going to go. So let's apply this one to our organization now. Optimization steps start from optimization vision because it's at the top of the organization where the vision is being crafted. Then after you have moved from that stage, what's the next thing? You have to consider your present state. Where are we now? Present state. What are the things that we are having challenges with in the present state? Why are we not able to do the particular things we set, the objective we set for ourselves? So you are look at the current state. Why are we performing now in the current state? So you assess the current state of the service to determine the steps to take to move forward. After that one now, you look on desire the future state. Future state is the state of improvement. So you have to migrate from the current state to the future state. So this course is tilted toward maybe somebody who is in charge of a service design, service and maybe build your service, to test it, to deploy it, to manage it. So you look at the future desire state. You agreed on what the future state, what you really want to achieve, what kind of improvement you want. Then you prioritize, and the priorities of the organization should be what focus on what simplifications and value. That's why I say these things work together. And you say when you are simplifying, you are talking about improvement. You are simplifying. Nice. So simplifying. You remember we are still under this place. So keep it simple. That's what I mean. Keep it simple and practical. This is what we are talking about. So they are only using different way to explain to us to understand that keeping your system simple, it will be easier for the people you build the system for to use it or the product or service. So let's look at it again. But
Just do it on
is that
people are supposed to be on this.
yeah? Are you still with us online? Hello. Okay. If you have any question, you can. So can you see that? What's important here, guys? When you're talking about can you see, simplification and value, when you simplify your process, can you see you can help it to deliver value. Then standardization of practice and services. So what this one means that if you want to bring about improvement in organization, you cannot say I want to improve one part, I don't want to improve another part. That's a shame. That's a shame that's caught somewhere. So it will render your improvement to nothing. You understand me? Standardization. So your work. So if for example, now if you in an organization, you have branches. If you reach one man, maybe one branch, they are doing very well. They attend to customer very well. Let's say bank. You go to another bank, another same bank with another branch, they are doing something else. You understand me? So it should be standardized so that wherever you go, still get the same treatment. The same thing, if you look at Julebeja, is a maybe it's an organization that into projects, they build roads, road construction. I know that Julebeja, they have standard. I don't know now whether they are entering to politics or Nigerian politics. If you travel to Kaduna, if the road there was built by Julebeja, without putting their sign, what do you call it, signage, if you come to Lagos, you will know that this road though is built by Julebaja. That's how they want you to be your service, so that everything you should standardize it. So when you produce something today, When you put another thing, a product or something another time, you see the same standard. Then that's the third step. The first step is that to do any improvement, can you see engagement? All the parties that are involved in your organization, if you want to bring about change in your organization, you have to involve every party that are involved,
Yeah.
stakeholder. Otherwise, nothing will work. I would say stakeholder engagement. Get feedback from them. Can you see? Establish the appropriate level of stakeholder engagement and commitment. We will talk about the different stakeholder engagement to that. Can you still remember?
The different
Stakeholder engagement.
um,
Uh, we talk
is
about
it
operational engagement,
operational,
tactical engagement,
tactical,
and what strategic engagement. So then after you have done up to this step, it's like when you are setting a goal for yourself. Maybe this year, oh, I want to make sure that by the end of December, I want to have 2 million naira in my bank account. You may be setting your objective until you go into action to be keep on saving and saving every month, you not achieve that. So action, practical action, execution of what you plan to improve. Can you see? Execute the improvement in a iterative way. Can you see? Iterative. Then the last one, after you have done everything, you should be to monitor the feedback, whether you have reached your goal. Continually monitor the impact of optimization, that is improvement, to inform the future opportunity for improvement. That's for that. So when we finish this one now, we look at the question. Automation. That's the last one. Automation. Automation is very important when it comes to service management. In fact, hardly you can see any organization in our present world that is not into automation or not they don't have technology. They cannot perform well at all. So when you say automation, it involve what? Typically involve technology performing activities with little or no human intervention. That is automation. Automation can also be defined as what? The creation of predefined rules so human responses are automated. So if the exam asks you, what are the advantages of automation? There are three in number. One, it helps you to save cost. Initially, when you obtain a technology, maybe obtain a machine, it might be very costly. But over some time, it will help you in your process. So it's going to save you cost in the long run. It reduces human error. But certain things we'll be doing as a human being, we do it over and over and over, we become tired. We'll not be able to think well. They will begin to make mistakes. But when it comes to automation, no, it reduces human error for us. Improving the employee experience, yes, they are learning new things. You introduce a new technology, it will help them. They help them to be able to do their work very well. So improve their employee experience. So these are the things you can find under automation. It saves cost, it reduces the human error, and improve the employee experience. That's the advantage of the automation. Very important. Are we getting set for? We are going to test ourselves now. We are going to do it together anyway. So how far we have gone to see whether
one thing I noticed about this optimization and automation
yeah.
is the number seven steps in
Yeah,
the
number
guiding
7, yes.
principle. But then it still looks like um, what's the word? Like a mirror of the guiding principles themselves.
Yes.
In that the guiding principle, the first one says focus on value, right?
Yes.
But in in the automation steps,
Yes.
the first one is optimizing
Up,
efficiency, which is similar.
yes, similar.
The second step is what again, sir? It says
The second step is that is where we know where the present state have been, current state.
yes. So current state is now similar to start
Start
where
where
you
you
are.
are. It's like you're getting it. So you look at the future state, that's the state of improvement. Everything's about improvement anyway.
Progress iteratively with
Feedback.
that's like stakeholder engagement where we
Now.
have to
Exactly. It's also about execution. Execute the improvement in an iterative way. Because when you are doing execution, you cannot do everything at once. Let me give you an example of what this one mean now. Maybe say I never put 1 million in my account before. And say, okay, this year part of my project is that by the end of December, I want to have million naira in my account. What do you do? It's an improvement. What do you do? If you follow the same step, it's going to work. When you talk about see, let me just explain to you how it work. That's your vision. You want to have million naira, abi? Your president said that presently in your bank account you have only 200,000, and even you are not even sure that 200,000 at the end of the year it will still be like that. Then your future state is what? My target is 1 million naira. You understand me? Then to do that one, you are going to involve a lot of people. Your bank will be involved. I say every month now I have set my target. Whenever my salary hits my account, take 100,000 or 100,000 and keep it safe for me somewhere. There's a process like that in bank. Then execution, that means you give them the right to do it. Because if you don't ask the bank to be removing it every month, you'll not be able to do it. You will spend the whole money. Execution. Then you know by the end of December to know whether you look at your bank account, you know whether you have achieved or not. The same thing that is played
But
here.
what I'm saying now, is this something like that? The vision is to have 1 million by the end of the year.
Yeah.
Would you know, because now it's similar, optimizing steps and the general guiding principles
Yes.
are similar. So would you now say you are using the guiding principle or you are using the optimizing step?
You are using
Because if you say the guiding
and it's
principle,
part of the guiding principle. This one we are talking about optimization. Optimization means improvement.
okay,
For example, every year by December, I just go look at my account. I only 200,000 there. I said, why now? I've been collecting salary now. Let me see a year that at the end of the year I will have 1 million naira in my account. So if you take this process, it still work. The present state, your future desire, who are the people involved to make it happen? What action are you going to take? Which is execution. When you take it, when at the end of December, you will know, guys, you know whether you are there or not. uh So that's what he's saying. The same thing is for now. Let's look at the apply the principle. We are trying to apply the principle now. He said simplify. Simplify also mean what do you call it? Another way, simplify and automate before automating. Define your own metrics because your own metrics should be outcome based. Can you see? Define your metric, it should be outcome based and focus on value. These are the two key things that are very important when it comes to service management or any improvement you are making. Use other guiding principle when applying this one specifically. That's what we were saying before. You say when you say you progress iterative in feedback, the same thing is similar to what keep it simple and practical. And also mean that you want to focus on value, also start where you are. So they are related one way or the other. Mm. Or you will know now whether you understand what I'm saying. Now, finally for this slide, interaction. That's what we were saying the other time. The interaction between the principle. If you understand this principle very well, you see now there's an interaction. The guiding principle naturally interact with one another. When you progress iterative in feedback, what are you trying to do? You are thinking and working holistically to ensure that each iteration deliver real value. Agile. Then feedback is the key to collaboration. Don't you do when you are in design your service, when your team member are trying to design something, the people who are going to use that service, do you not collaborate with them to give you feedback? So it's always the same thing. So focusing on what we truly that's the main thing here now. Say you must focus on what will truly be valuable to customer. Makes it easier to keep it simple and practical. If you don't make it simple and practical, it's not be useful to the customer. So it's not valuable to them. You waste your time, energy increasing the service or any or products. Are not useful. Don't use just one or two principles. You must consider the relevant and irrelevant, how they are applied together. Not all the principle will be, they are not giving you a limitation now. Have it now. Not all the principle will be critical in every situation. Review each occasion to determine they are relevant when you are going to use them. And that's the end for this. So on that note, I'm going to open the first the people sats they gave us that question they gave us free. They are not adding knowledge, they are not hiding anything. You may see word to word in the exam, or they can reframe it, use different sentence. They say it mean the same thing. So they allow you to practice it to prepare yourself for the exam. So they are not adding anything to you. You can see word to word, but what concerns them most that you how do you apply? Do you understand it and apply it to your service management? So now people online, we are going to for question and answer section. Are you ready? Hello. These people are not there. Okay. Are you ready for the question and answer now? I'm going to open it. So let me.